Welcome back to the Primal Pursuits podcast. I'm your host, Mike Merrill, and we have Canyon on the podcast as usual, and our amazing guest, Mr. Daryl Merkley. How you doing, Daryl? Why don't you introduce yourself to our guests and tell us a little bit about
Hey,
you?
doing great. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me, guys. I've just been involved with a couple different businesses. I know I've worked with the Merrills a couple times with business, and it's been awesome to do some things. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure we'll get into a bunch of different things. I'm a husband. I'm a father of four beautiful daughters, very active daughters in sports and athletics and stuff. And it's been kind of fun, kind of instilling like business mentality in their brains with whatever activities they're in and helping them win even through the losses. So a bunch of different things that I'm involved in, but right now you can either find me in one of my offices or on a soccer field somewhere. So yeah, if anyone needs to find me, just start looking at soccer fields.
Awesome. Well, Daryl, you and I have known each other for quite a while, and it's funny because uh, twice I've been introduced to you through apparel. I mean, you built these hats; they're awesome. People absolutely love them. So thank you for that good work, and we're going to keep ordering. But also, some on the Primal Performance SUP side of things. I mean, we ended up, working through you and with some of your partners, and in both cases, um, they were independently sort of evolving to where they led back to you. And then I find out we're going to the same church, and I didn't know that either originally. Like,
Yeah.
it's all roads lead to Daryl Merkley. So anyway, we thought we got to get this guy on the
I
podcast and
love it.
find out how he's doing all this. Seem to be everywhere.
Well, let me give you a huge shout out. The reason I can do it all is because of your Apex product, man. It is freaking killer.
There you
I'll
go.
get I'll start I'll come right out of the gate with a shout out to that stuff. That stuff is next freaking level. Like my brain power, my focus, my drive, a lot of it, man. I have not had another supplement that has kicked it into a high gear and taken it to another level. So good job on that, guys. I'm very, very impressed.
It's funny because and I've told this story to a couple other people, so hopefully you don't mind. But again, you're involved on some of the back end with some of the manufacturing that we do, and so obviously you have exposure to all kinds of different products and different things in the marketplace. But I gave you some, a tub of it to try out and see what you liked. I mean, I know you're a workout guy, you're a fitness guy, you're a sports guy, you're a health guy, and so I said, well, rather than have you buy any, let me just let you try some, and if you like it, you can order more. And wasn't even 3 weeks later, you're texting me at like 8:30 at night. Hey, dude, you got some Apex at your house? I need to come get some. And I'm like, what's going on? And anyway, maybe you could tell the story.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, I mean, kind of going back to our paths have crossed quite a few times and not really knowing. But yeah, because we met at a couple different trade shows because we have a mutual friend that introduced us, and then we started chatting and we found out we have a couple other mutual friends. And then yeah, you guys, one of my companies is called Pivot, and we're a co-packer slash fulfillment company. And we just kind of started chatting about that at church one day, and I introduced you to some of the guys that kind of run the show over there more day to day, and we just kind of made things happen, and one thing led to another, and now you guys have your freaking killer product, Apex. So yeah, I'm loving it.
That's awesome. So that night when you wanted to come pick some up, and it seemed like an urgent, like I'm down to my last scoop. I got to get more of this. What drove you to say that, and why is that unique, and why did it stand out to you?
Well, I mean, I've had some other, I mean, being in Utah as well, there's kind of like one big dog here in Utah, I feel like, for supplements. And I take their stuff, and the one thing that they do really, really well is their flavors. The flavors that this specific company has, like I feel like they've really dialed in their flavors. But I'd take their supplements and I just feel so like I'd go so high and so hard, and like and then you'd crash, and that's just what I thought pre-workout felt like. One time I had a buddy ask me like, what is it like? I never take pre-workout. What does it feel like? And I saw a meme one time of like a grizzly bear surfing on top of a great white shark while shooting machine
Yeah.
guns in the air. And I sent it to him. I was like, bro, this is what it feels like. But then you never talk about the down because then you just kind of come down and you're tired, you're like, oh, kind of groggy. But yeah, so you gave me the sample of it, and I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. And I was thinking to myself, oh, I'll for sure at least buy one more because that's like kind of what friends do is support each other in their businesses. Um, and then so you gave it to me, and I actually really liked it. I like the flavor; it's super smooth. I put a couple ice cubes in mine with my water and blend it up, and just shoot it nice and cold, and it just tasted really, really good. And I was waiting for like that niacin rush and just like the heart racing, and it never happened. And I just felt good and level. And then I started taking it. I've been taking it consistently, and I started looking into it. And I've watched a few things with you, Canyon, talking about like the nootropics in it. And I'd love to hear more about that too. Kind of explain a little bit more. But like I can just feel my brain just sharper. And so as I'm running, helping run this business and keeping my sales up in this business, because at Brand Makers I do sales. I mainly focus on sales, and then every now and again when there's like manager stuff, like someone will come pick my brain. But I just love sales, so that's where I'm at. And then with my other business, Pivot, I'm over there helping kind of with like the overseas manufacturing and different things, and working with customers over there. I just feel like I have to stay sharp and keep them separated. But then when I can cross over clients to different between the two companies and help out, it makes me more of a like a double threat there. So, but yeah, with this stuff and the nootropics in it, like I feel sharp and I feel ready to talk with anybody or take on late meetings or anything like that.
Kind of like you were saying, like with normal pre-workout, you take it and you're feeling like you're a grizzly bear riding a great white shark, shooting machine guns. And that's why I started taking it. I loved that feeling. But growing up, having a family, my life's and priorities are kind of shifting on more of the business side of things. And I was one to take a scoop of pre-workout to start my day, regardless of if I was going to the gym or not. Like that was sort of my energy
Yeah,
drink. Um, and I'm like, it's not like I have the energy, but it's almost negative, right? Because I'm so squirrely brained. I don't know what to focus on. I'm kind of in every place. And so I started looking into nootropics and kind of what that does. And with Apex, we wanted to put something together that you can take it going to the gym and it works awesome, but you can also take it for business, for work, for before sales calls, and to really feel dialed. And it's kind of an all-in-one in that case. And so, we thought, okay, what do we like about each? Like for me, I love energy drinks as well. And so I basically took everything that I had taken and picked what works best for me specifically and for the majority of my friends that I've talked to. And that's what Apex is. And so the main focus of it is not only providing that physical energy, but like you said, the mental. And how can we do that, but not, become overbearing? What are some things that can help dial that back? Because focus, right? It's energy combined with
yeah,
calmness, right? So that enough stimulation that you're hitting that threshold, but not going over it. Because once you go over it, it's a net
yeah,
negative.
like a focus
And
energy.
so, exactly. And so that's what,
Yeah, for sure. That's a great way to explain it.
so I looked at a bunch of different ingredients, like alpha GPC that you see in some pre workouts, but some of the standalone ingredients that you really don't see is uridine 5 monophosphate, which helps with, your dopamine reuptake. It helps on the choline pathway to boost acetylcholine, which is basically the focus chemical. And new level, which is a pretty new, it's, an FDA regulated product. It's awesome. What it does is it helps increase blood flow specifically to your brain, helps dilate those vessels so that, not only it's good for, a muscle pump, right? Like L-citrulline, but what's going to provide the blood flow directly to the brain to help keep things moving and help with the focus. So yeah, we love that you've been able to recognize that, and it helps prove our case on, we're doing things right.
Well,
So
I made a post about it and I shared it and I said, "Hey, this is killer stuff. These are good dudes. No kickbacks here for me. I'm a nobody on social media. I have mine private because I post my daughter so much. I really don't want a big following on it, but
yeah,
I posted it and I had some friends reach out to me and be like, "Hey, what is this? Like, what are you talking about?" And I just kind of told them with everything that I've experienced with it, and they really liked it. And one of my buddies, I was like, dude, I'll bring you a scoop. So I put a little scoop in a little plastic baggie, and I was careful whipping that around so people didn't think think I'm
yeah.
distributing white powder. But he tried it and he loved it too. So I don't know. And I've had a few people ask me questions, and so I don't know. Maybe hopefully that's resulted in some sales from you. But yeah, I think it's been awesome for me for sure.
Yeah, that's great. I know and you mentioned to me too, which was kind of interesting because I said, "Hey, it's 8:30 at night. You walked up to my house and I brought some out to you, and you Venmoed me and whatever." And but you had mentioned, "Hey, I've had a few people comment at work, like, man, you're like remembering things, like you're man, you're on it, or
Yeah.
what are you doing?" And I know you've been working out, and and this is part of that journey too. But trying to trim up and get fit, and so, I mean, the way you explained it to me, you were, you're like, is it that? Am I just in better shit? But you're like, you realize, oh, I'm taking Apex. That's why my cognitive, mental state is just sharper and keener. And that's exactly what Canyon said. I mean, that's why we did this. And even in some of the manufacturing process of dialing this product in, again, the comment was made by multiple people. Hey guys, you've actually got two products here. Like, you really actually have two marketable products that could both do really well. And financially, it might be to your advantage to do that. And Canyon and I decided, no, we don't want to do that. We want to do what we would want
Yeah.
if we were buying a product and investing in that for our health and our mental benefit and our strength and conditioning and our pump in the gym and the workout to get the most out of everything that we're doing, that we're focused on. We want to put them in one.
Well, that's going to be a superior product too. You could split it up, right? Like you could have split it up and be like, hey, get this, and I mean, all about the dollar, dude, I mean, when you're good to your clients, they're going to be good back to you. So that's huge, and that's great for you guys. I think it's awesome.
So props to Canyon, because he's the master of
He's
this.
the mad
This
scientist
formula.
behind it. Well, you said something about like a few things because I've picked your brain on a few things too, and I feel like yeah, like I have been working out, and I have a gym in my basement, and it was funny. I was going to tell you like the big push for me is I have a daughter that's almost 13 and she's on a premier soccer team. So, and she had a soccer game today and just freaking crushed it. This is what makes me so proud. I have to be careful because if I start talking about my kids, I'll cry. I'm a huge baby now that I have kids. But she went out and she was playing, and her team was up 3-0, and she plays the 10 spot, and so which is like an attacking mid. And she was out there and she was just killing it. And then her coach pulled her out to take a breather and let someone else play. Soon as she came out, she went and sat on the bench, took a drink, said, I'm ready. I'm ready to go back in. Put me back in. And I was just like dying laughing with that because it just makes me so proud. And then she got put back in a couple minutes later. And usually like when like you take your better players out and let them rest when you have a lead and stuff. But she went back in and she played a little bit longer. Then he pulled her out and she was ready to go back in again, but he's like, no, just chill, calm, like you're good. And then me and him started joking about it, how she was just about it today. So it was fun. It was fun seeing that and like seeing that in your kids once they start getting the drive, when they're catching the vision, and when they're getting just dialed in whatever sport or whatever activity they're doing. It's freaking awesome.
For a long time since we've been neighbors, I see you as a father, and I see how much you love your girls and your family, and that's very important to you. So how do you balance it all? Because you're a pretty busy guy. You're very entrepreneurial. You're sharp. Obviously, you've got yourself involved in lots of things. You've been successful. What's your secret to balancing those things and keeping a focus of father, but also like killing it at the office, or killing it in the gym, or killing it as a soccer dad, right? Cheering your girls on. I mean, how do you balance all of that?
Ooh, that's a good question. I I think just like timing and like and setting up what's valuable for you, right? I mean, as a business owner, I mean, you're trying to eliminate waste. And when you have a product, you're trying to, I'm sure like Canyon, when you were developing this, you're like, okay, what ingredients do I need? What are gonna give us the best results? What's not? And so just identifying what gives you value in your life is a big thing for me. And there's a lot of things that are like fun, but they don't necessarily deliver value. And maybe the value is the fun. And so right now my days are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Every day I wake up at least 6 before my girls wake up, and by 7:30 I'm upstairs making them breakfast for school. About 6 o'clock I wake up, and then I do my cold plunge Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which I want to talk more about that, Mike. And then I'll do my workouts, and then by the time that's done, then I get up and go, and then I head into the office, and I have a great team. I think a big part of being like a leader in, I mean, and this isn't anything new that like I've come up with. I'm just kind of like regurgitating things that I've learned, and what's worked with me is just like have a good team behind you so you don't have to micromanage and let the good people do their job. And so my assistant, her name's Jenna, and she is a freaking rock star. And she'll come into me and be like, all right, this is what I did. I did this, and I'm going to work on this, and this. What's your thoughts on this? And I'm like, do it. I love it. I mean, we work as a team, and she just kind of crushes it and just goes throughout her day and just makes it happen. And then it was funny because a couple years ago, I was meeting with the CEO of Brand Makers, and he was asking me like what my New Year's resolution was. And at that time, I was fairly new at Brand Makers. I was still building up my book of business, but I was at this point, I was to the point where like I felt comfortable with my book of business. And he says, "What's your New Year's resolution?" I said, "I'm going to leave work at 4 o'clock every single day." And other parents that are in the same life as me right now is like kids get home from school, they get their snack, and we're off to gymnastics, we're off to tennis, we're off to soccer, we're off to whatever it is. And so parents are either eating dinner at 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So I set a New Year's resolution to leave work at 4 o'clock. And I've been doing that for about the last 4 years. And there's times where I look up at the clock and it's 4 o'clock and I just walk away from my computer. I'm like, that email and that conversation can easily get picked up tomorrow. And I just walk out and go home, and we either have the early dinner or we have that hour with my family before me and my wife have to divide and conquer and get to whatever trainings or practices we might have. So I think the short answer to your question is just identify what values you value in your life and then execute them.
Canyon, you're a young father, so what are you taking away from this and your experience growing up?
I'm a new business owner, and I'm trying to find a good balance on, where to put my focus, where to put my time, and like when, right? So like I'm building this business, I'm mainly at home, I have my family here. And so right now it's been interesting to kind of see how I can prioritize and pick what's going to be the most important thing to focus on right now, right? Because I have a year and a half old, and so it's been interesting trying to juggle all of it, right? Having enough effort put into the dad side of things and a husband, as well as trying to start a small business. And I think it's important to keep each of the plates spinning, right? Sometimes you're going to be actively spinning one of the plates, but you still have to balance the other side. And when it starts to slow down, okay, then I can start spinning right here. And so I think that obviously I'm still in the throes of it, but I think that efficiency comes with time, like you've put in, Daryl, and like you have, Dad. And so yeah, and growing up, obviously it was interesting, like with sports and stuff. Like you were always there if you weren't on business trips, Dad. And I think it's in your case, it was a pretty big grind, late nights, early mornings, and even when you are home, still being attentive. But sometimes you got to pull the laptop out when needed and do a couple things. And so yeah, I mean that's my perspective on it.
Isn't it funny how people like when you have like a business, like people think, oh, you have your business, you're making all this money, you have all this freedom. It's like you do have a lot of freedom. Like I
Yeah.
like Mike, if you called me up at 1 o'clock and said, hey, let's go, like, or if you called me up and said, hey, I just dropped this massive buck, will you come help pack it out? Like, I'll drop everything and go. But then also later that night, I'm back on my computer at 10:30. I'm messaging, I'm replying to clients. And then not only that, like with me being so involved with manufacturing, like overseas, that's when they're waking up and doing it. So my phone's starting to ping late at night, and people don't see that kind of stuff. They just kind of see, oh, Daryl just left the office again. Oh, he's going to go in the mountains right now. Like, it's so funny what.
Or Daryl has a nice truck. Look at Daryl's fancy truck.
Yeah.
How would that be?
Yeah.
You're involved in multiple businesses,
Yeah.
and still doing those things. Something else that's cool, you kind of hit on this a little bit, and we're actually benefactors of it. We're customers on both sides to you.
Yeah, great question. So one thing, so with brand makers, with me being a partner over here at brand makers, I've really dialed in my craft over here, and I feel like I do a pretty good job. I've had a lot of really great mentors over here, and like some really, I've become like best friends with some of these guys that are over here and just really kind of helped develop me. And I've been able to pass it down. Um, and then when some other buddies approached me about pivot, I've let me back up here. So I've had other businesses before, and I've had opportunities where I've done things. So like one of the first businesses that I started a flea market. I love to yard sell. I think it's just fun seeing what treasure out there. So my family owns a movie theater, and I wanted to bring back the old flea market feel at the movie theater, like the drive-in style. So I started that, and we're seeing success with that. And then it just kind of fizzled out, like nothing. We're doing really well, and we're seeing success. And then I started another company that had bone conducting speakers in sunglasses. And I still have a couple pair. Mike, I'll drop some off to you so you can just like check them out. They're sick. But I started that. We're doing really well. We're in the black. We're climbing. We're growing. And again, going back to what you value is I had no time for my family. So I was working my full-time job. I was hustling that job after hours, and my family was really hurting, and it was killing me. So I said, I'm done. And like my partners were busy too, so we just kind of killed it, and that was that. So then I told myself, okay, if I ever start another business, I'm not going to start a new business. I'm going to go into a business with what I do and have someone that values what I offer. And I had some buddies approach me about Pivot, and I really liked what they're doing. It was new, and it kind of fell right along the lines with what I'm currently doing, and I could deliver a great value to them with what I'm already doing. And so I said, yeah. So I jumped in and I invested, and I have an office over at that building, and I work with them quite a bit. But yeah, it was just the whole thing. One thing that I said is that I'm not gonna start anything new. I'm gonna deliver the value that I have to offer into another company. And if they find value in that, then yeah, I'll ride with you, and we'll see where it goes, and I'll help grow the best I can. But I can't start something new from the ground up. I mean, Mike, Kenya, I'm sure you both have done this, like trade shows. Man, I freaking hate working trade shows. But it's like a necessary thing that you have to do. But gosh, I freaking hate working trade shows.
Yeah, that's the last 20 years of my life. Like, oh, twice a month,
Oh,
everywhere, all around the
they're
country. I mean,
brutal. They're
it's a
brutal.
grind. It's a grind.
Yeah, so here at Brandmaker, so I didn't start the company. My buddies here, Brandmaker started in 2008. I came on in 2015, and they're just such a great company. They say when you come on as a sales rep, and it's kind of like the Wild West. You got to create your own leads. So the first year for sure, I was in here just cold calling 8 hours a day. That's another thing. Like people are like, oh well, you're making all this great money. Like you're taking time. You work from 10 to 3:30 every day. I'm like, yeah, but you didn't see when I was in there from 7 and 8 in the morning to hit the East Coast clients to 6 at night and cold calling and having people hang up. Like that freaking sucks, man. Like people love seeing it when you're successful, but they don't see the grind that you have to go through. But like other entrepreneurs see that. So yeah, I started here at Brandmakers in 2015. They set goals for you, and then as soon as you hit those goals, they offer you ownership in the company to buy in. And I jumped on that immediately. But we do promotional items, swag, custom apparel, anything that you can put a logo on, we can do it. So like your guys' sweet hats, like we did those here through Brand Makers. Um, we do t-shirt. The bulk of our stuff is like hats and t-shirts, and we do water bottles. We can do everything. I've had people call me and they want like custom injection molded like belt buckles. So we'll make belt buckles for people or just about everything and anything that you can make or design. We either have like domestic vendors that handle that, or we have great relations with factories overseas. So like if you're wanting like a replica of a semi truck, let's say once Primal blows up and you guys have your own custom semi truck with Apex branded all over the side, we can make a little version of it for you to hand out to little kids and everything. So we can make everything and anything that you can put a logo on.
You cruised up here on a little e-bike that was a brand maker's e-bike,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we've done that for a couple different clients, and so that's been a lot of fun. It's funny because like my oldest daughter, she was wanting an e-bike. She was looking at those little Jetsons, and I started looking at them. I'm like, oh, those are cool. They're like little 250-watt motors, and I was like, those are cool. But like me, I'm 6'3". I'm a big guy, so like my daughter is. I don't want to call her big. You don't want to ever call a lady big, but she's she's gonna outgrow that Jetson pretty quick. And so I was like, why don't we? So I started looking at bigger ones, and then finally I reached out to my factories overseas. I was like, can we do anything like this? And they came back and said, yep. And so we opened it up to our employees, and our employees were able to buy them at cost. And so yeah, now we have brand makers e-bikes, and I'm the one that like handled that order for the company, and I made sure I bought the e-bikes with the 4-inch tires and the high weight capacity, so when I'm cruising up those game trails in the mountains, I can debone a deer and throw it in my pack.
Yeah, brand makers, and we, I was neighbors with Ryan Bowler, who was my neighbor across the street, and I
Yeah,
think right when he was just getting out of college and
yeah,
playing basketball, and just a great Ryan and Amanda and their kids, knew them for a long time. So I knew them first, and then again, running into you, I think I ran into you at World of
yep,
Concrete. I ran into you at a Sage event, construction
yep,
software. I ran into you at the SHOT Show down in Vegas, a show that in the hunting community
yeah.
that I love a lot too. So I mean, you guys are all over the place, right?
Yeah, so when they bring you in at brand makers, they kind of just like turn you loose and they say, "Hey, go build up your clientele. We don't have territories or anything. It's just go." And it's been fun because a lot of my clients are hunting outdoors. Like I go to a trade show called the AIM Expo, which is like outdoor sports. So like Yamaha will be there, and Polaris and dirt bikes and all that stuff, and side by sides. That's there. I just get along with the blue collar guys, so I do a lot of swag for blue collar companies, and yeah, those are my people, and so I have a ton of fun with them and become really good friends with my clients and just help out wherever I can. I always tell people that it's a joke, but it's also really true. Is I tell my like marketing managers and people that I work with, I say, hey, treat me like your unpaid intern. They're paying you a heck of a lot more to do your job rather than look for a 25-cent pen. Let me look for that 25-cent pen, and I'll kick you ideas, and we'll just get it going and move on and find something else cool to work on.
Nice. Yeah. One of the other ones that stands out that you guys have done, I've seen at lots of different trade shows. You guys do those hat bars
Yeah,
where you've got a bunch of patches and blank hats, and people can customize and make their own and pick their colors. And
yeah.
it's actually a really cool idea. People love those. I see them wearing them all the time around that you guys built.
Yeah, so
So
a lot of other promo companies are starting to copy us now. So we actually own hatbar.com. So yeah, we own that, and we have that, and so a lot of people are starting to copy us. But no, that's because during pivot or during the COVID, everyone had to like kind of adjust and pivot a little bit, and so that was one of the things that we wanted to do once like everything started coming back, and you can start meeting with people and being within 6 feet of people. We all know that rigmarole that we all had to deal with, but the hat bar is one thing that we came up with because when you're working a trade show, like you can hire these cute girls and they can try to scan your badge, or you can offer them a pen, you can offer them whatever. But it's so crazy what people will give you if they get to be involved in the process of getting something like semi-custom. So yeah, a lot of times with our clients, we'll go and we'll set up 4 or 5 hat presses, and you can walk up to the bar or walk up to the booth. But that's a lot of times when they'll scan you, and then you get to pick out your patch. You say you pick out patch number 3, then you go pick out the black and gray hat, and then you hand it to us at the hat press. We'll set it on, press it, and you get your semi-custom hat there. And people love it, and our clients absolutely love it as well, because then the amount of scans that they were getting at these shows and leads that they're getting just flew through the roof. So interactive marketing with that was huge, huge for our clients.
yeah, and I've heard people say, like, I've said, "Hey, sweet hat." And they're like, "Oh yeah, I made it at this thing," and it's like, "Oh, I know what they did." They were at a hat bar and they picked the patch, and they take ownership in that process, like you said, and they're more proud of that hat. So it's going to stick, right? So
The pride in like getting the like semi like there's 5 hats and 5 patches to pick from, but they designed that. So like the pride it's so the psychological point of it's just so interesting of what people we joke and we're like, man, people would give their like firstborn child to pick out a hat that they get to pick the patch that goes on it. So it's so interesting to me.
Obviously in with brand makers, you joined in 2015, you made a pretty significant rise, and that takes a lot of dedication, work ethic. It takes, a various amount of skills to develop. And you also mentioned, you're a father of 4 daughters. How do you instill or teach those traits to help your kids develop and become the best version of themselves, leading into adulthood?
I freaking love that question. I love it. Short answer is let them know failure is okay because we learn from it and they can do hard things. So my wife's going to school right now to be a therapist, and right now she's kind of leaning towards like sports therapy, and I love it because I mean I did a lot of sports throughout high school. I didn't do anything post high school, but I've been really involved with my kids with coaching. I've coached different soccer teams and have done different things there. But like one thing with my oldest daughter who's on that premier soccer team, she is one thing that we're working through right now is just getting her head right, her mental right, and not being afraid, because there's too many times where with her and my other kids where they would play to not lose rather than play to win. And
Mm.
just knowing that playing, like making mistakes is okay. Like today, my daughter she had 4 shots on goal and she didn't have any goals. But dude, I freaking celebrated with her big time after that because
Mm.
she was playing the middle. She was being aggressive. She was going after it. She had some great headers. She had some great ball control, some great lead passes going up the field. And like, you just celebrate the victories. She didn't have any goals, but like, I don't even care because there's so many other victories. And I think that's the thing that I really want to instill in my kids is failure's okay as long as we learn from it and we tell ourselves like, man, I love this. I love this. I just learned whatever. I love this. I want to keep going and like to do hard things. Like in Salem here, Mike, have you ever done the polar bear plunge at Salem Pond? It's always January
I haven't
1st.
done it. I need to do it. I haven't participated directly.
So it's super cool. They have a bunch of like,
I would win if it's timed, but yeah.
no, it's nothing like that. It's just, you show up, you jump in the pond, you jump out, eat a donut, have a hot chocolate, hang out. Well, anyway, I took my daughters there. We were not this last year, but the year before we took them there, and they didn't want to do it. And I was like, that's fine, you don't want to do it, but guess what? We're going to do it as a family, and this is going to be hard. And like, it's so hard because I feel like when I grew up, it was just like, hey, that's not so bad, was it? Like, that's easy, right? But like, no, that was hard. And that's okay. Things can be hard and that's all right.
Yeah.
So like we can do hard things and we can feel accomplished with it. And so that's what I just want my girls to know, that like, yeah, life's going to be hard. Things are going to be hard. And you know what? That's okay, because there's a higher power that has an idea and a design for you. And so let's focus on that. Let's learn. And if we fail, hey, we're going to get it next time. And if we fail again, hey, we're going to get it next time. Let's go. Let's do hard things. And so that's the big thing that I want to instill in my girls, and is just try it. Just learn.
Yeah.
Let's do hard things and let's learn and grow.
It's super important to, a lot of us, if not everybody, right? We're all focused on the outcome of things. And I think it's important to switch that mindset to focusing on your efforts, your inputs, regardless of the outcome of it. If you're happy with your inputs, like you said, she had
Four
um,
shots.
four
Yeah.
shots on target, right? And even though none of them were goals, you guys celebrated. You were
Oh
happy
man.
because she did everything like she could have, right? And sometimes life doesn't, get us to that end goal that we want on the first try or the second try or even the third or fourth, right? And I think it's important to remind ourselves and keep the consistent mindset of, as long as I'm doing my best and I'm actually truly satisfied and happy with my efforts, one of them's going to go
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, absolutely. I read something a little while ago and I can't remember where it was, and I hope I remember it all. It was talking about like the 4 different things for like a successful like family, and one was like dinners together, one was like physical activities together, and oh man, now I'm spacing it. I'm gonna have to find that. I'm gonna have to find what that was. Another one was like seeing your kids also seeing like the affection between mom and dad. That was a big one too for
Yeah.
like a successful family. Oh, it's going to come to me here in a minute what the fourth one was, but yeah, it just stuck with me as like those physical activities. And I keep seeing these like statistics that like people over 30, like 95%, I don't know, I could be wrong, but it was like a high percentage of people over 30 will never run again in their life, let alone sprint. And so I'm like the one of the big reasons why I want to stay in shape and stay healthy is because I'm going to beat my kids at every freaking sport that they play until I just can't
As
anymore.
long as you can.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I am not that dad that's like, oh, go ahead. Like, no, I am smoking my kids. But like me and my oldest, we went and played just like some tennis soccer and she beat me in a game. And I was like, what is going on? And so I was out in the backyard working on my juggles and working on different things, trying to like hone my skill in a little bit better. But yeah, dude, kids are fun.
I had a couple of thoughts come to mind when you guys are both talking. You don't ever lose when you lose when you quit. So as soon as you quit, you've lost because you gave up. And we were talking before the podcast. I mean, Canyon was asking me about this deer hunt I've been on. It's on my 5th stalk in 5 days. Now, 2 of them were in the same day. So there's one day we didn't find him, but 5 stalks on this giant buck. That's the biggest deer I've ever, been in close proximity with a bow and a tag in my pocket. And, wind switched last second. I needed 10 more seconds. And, I was going to have a 40-yard shot at this buck. And you know what? I came home, regroup, spend a couple days here, record this podcast, do some stuff around the house, go to church tomorrow with the family. And then Monday and Tuesday, I'm back out there again because, I can't quit. Like I have to keep going because I know one of these stocks, it's going to come together. But if I just bail out and say I'm done, then, that deer, that business deal, that customer, that situation, whatever it is, that challenge is going to beat me if I give in. So just love that attitude, Daryl, that you're teaching those kids. And I could see it, I see how you're interacting with them there in church and how they carry themselves, the confidence they have. I love how proud you are of them as their father. And I watch them just light up and glow and beam when you talk about them and how much you love and respect and are just excited about their successes. It's cool to watch.
You reminded me. So, okay, the 4 things. The first thing was family meals. The second thing was family activities, like physical activities. You're out doing sports, you're doing things. The third thing was church, family church. You get up and you go to church together as a family. And then the fourth thing was having like the parental like intimacy, and then like also having your kids see the love that you and your
affection. Yeah.
Just listening to you talk just made me curious. What drives you every day, right? Like, you could say that you've reached a point of success that, I mean, a lot of people strive for, but what keeps you going? What keeps you motivated to continue progressing in every aspect of your life, whether it's physically with your family or on the business side of things?
So when I worked, I had this supervisor. His name was Alex, and he's still a really really good friend. He is a really really good guy, and I owe a lot of like just like my mentality to him of how he trained me. And he had me read Strength Finder 2.0. Are you guys familiar with that?
Yeah,
I'm not.
So it's a really easy read, and so it's only like a couple page. It's like maybe like 30-40 pages or something like that. And then the rest of it's so you read this, you take your quiz online, and it kind of tells you, and then you can kind of go in and see like your attributes that you have and like what makes you. And one of the things for me is I need to fill my bucket every day. I start every day with an empty bucket. And I have to win. I have to do something I have to feel accomplished every day. And maybe that's just the ADHD in me or whatever, but it's I have to wake up and I have to do something. And like a big driving factor right now is just leaving at 4 o'clock, leaving the office at 3 o'clock to go with my kids. Like Monday, my daughter has another soccer game, so I'll check her out of school at 2, and we got to drive up to Farmington. We got to drive over an hour north to get this game, and dude, I can't wait for it. I love watching them play. My second daughter is just she was in soccer and she's doing really well, and she wanted to try tennis, so she quit soccer, and now she's excelling at that. And she's putting in the work, and I'll go outside and I know nothing about tennis, but I'll hit the ball back and forth with her. My 2 youngest are in gymnastics and they're crushing it with that. My third daughter, she is a natural soccer player, so I think she's gonna be quitting gymnastics soon, which is gonna break my wife's heart because my wife was a Division I gymnast, and she also commentates for BYU
That's awesome.
gymnastics right now as well. So gymnastics runs deep in her blood there. So, but yeah, she's got a great soccer kick and a great gait when she's running, and it's inevitable that she's gonna come to the pitch with us.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so short answer, my kids, man, dude, I freaking love. I just want more time with them. I want to make more money so to do funner things. I just, dude, I just love winning. And then when I have like other
Yeah.
people like, they're like, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting this business. What do you think?" Like on the drive over here, I actually had a buddy call me, and he's having some issues with his business partner, and he's just wanting to bounce ideas off me. And I don't have the answers for him, but I kind of pitched a few things of what I heard and what I suggest and what I feel. And dude, I'll just sit there and be your soundboard where you can just shoot ideas off me and let me think. And I just love seeing how people's brains work when it comes to business and what drives other people. But yeah, for me, my drive is definitely, dude, I just wanna fill that cup every day and I just want to win, man. I just freaking want to win.
I also did that strength finder, and yeah, that was one of mine as well. You know, making sure that my bucket's full every day because it empties. You know, regardless of what the accomplishment was. You know, I sort of have that. I'm never satisfied. You know, I'm proud of what I've done, and you know how I've gotten to the point that I have. Every single day, it's I got to be doing something to feel
Yeah.
fulfilled. And so you see with traits, kind of like what you were saying, you have a winner's mindset. It's pretty typical for someone to not enjoy the fruits of their labor, right? Because they're always looking for the next thing, and what else can I do? I need more. Have you been able to find that balance of being grateful and present in the moment and happy with your efforts, or is it still something that you're trying to find that balance between that and striving for more?
No, dude, I I love so a lot of people they're always, "Oh, hey, what's up, Daryl?" I'm like, "I'm just here to party." Like I have really put a focus of just like living in the moment and enjoying it. And like it's always interesting to me when you talk to someone and you're like, "Oh, happy birthday." And they're like, "Yep, I'm 21 again. Oh, I've been going 21 9 years now." And I'm like, "Screw that. I'm freaking 38 right now and I'm having the time of my life." Like I want to get
Yeah.
old. I want to live in the moment. Like I just love it. Like in Kenya, I think about like when I had one kid and she was 1.5, dude, like just enjoy that, man. And like, because once you get to where I'm at right now, dude, like all my kids are out of diapers, which is huge. Like I'm celebrating that right now. And
Yeah.
dude, I love where I'm at with life. And when I'm starting to drop kids off at college, dude, I just really want to love and enjoy those moments. And yeah, I had those 1.5-year-old moments and it was awesome. Now I'm right here where I'm have a almost a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old, and I'm enjoying these moments. And I don't know, just living in the present has been a big thing that I have to remind myself all the time. Just enjoy where you're at.
Have you always been like that, or have you had to develop that?
I feel like I have always been like this. Like, so my grandpa he was an amazing businessman. He died when I was 12. And I just remember, I think maybe I was just like, I was, I developed into the business person because all of my family vacations when I was a kid were always based around business trips. And so we would always go on a business trip, but then we would be in California. So then we'd stop by Disneyland. And that was like one day would go to the beach or whatever. So all of my family's business trips and my poor kids, it's the same way. Like if I have to go to a convention in Vegas, then I'll take them to a hotel with a really nice pool away from the strip, of course, and just let them hang out and swim all day. And I'll go work the convention one day and I'll meet with clients that night and they just think it's a great time. I'm sure when they get older they'll do that. But my grandpa was really like that and he was just super social and he was always inviting people over and just wanted to like hear people and learn. And I really clung to that because people loved being around him. And I just remember thinking like that's what I want to be like. And so I just want, I mean, we all, when we're teenagers and stuff, like you make dumb choices and you're that dumb know-it-all teenager, but I feel like I've grown out of that now that I'm almost 40. But I've always wanted to I just, I always joke, like, I seriously always joke, like, dude, I'm just here to party. Let's party. And we'll be going to do something, like go register my car. And people will be like, what are you up to? I'm just going to party over here and get my car registered type of thing. And so, and it's contagious too. Like when people kind of act like that with me, like it's fun, it's light, it makes things good. And like, I don't know. I've always tried to just say everything's a party and, um, live it, I guess, and just live in the moment and have a lot of fun. And yeah, my grandpa is a big reason why I have this mentality, I think.
So, Daryl, when you're getting into the cold plunge at 40 degrees, are you there to party or what?
Dude,
Let's talk about that.
hell yeah, I'm there to party, man. Dude, it's a different kind of party, but I'm partying for sure.
Yeah.
No,
So
dude.
tell us about your cold plunging journey.
Okay,
Let's talk about
so
that.
I love this. I love it because I actually pulled you aside and was like, how do I do this? What do I
You
do?
sure did.
And
You
so,
did.
because I see your post and I see you doing it, and dude, I'm addicted to it. I'm freaking addicted to it. So, like, I do, like I said earlier in the podcast, I do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Well, here we are Saturday and Sunday, like, my body craves it come Sunday afternoon.
You're wanting to go?
Yes. Yeah. Like, my
Yeah.
body starts craving it Sunday and I go get it. And I'm to the point now where, like, it'll still, I don't have to hype myself up. I just get in and I sit down. Cause you do it. You're crazy, man, dude. You get in like, cause you're like 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, right?
I can do that. Yeah. Usually 10 just for fun, but yeah.
So the other podcast that I've listened, because I really want, like, it sounds like the general consensus is like 3 to 6 minutes, right? So I'm
Yeah,
right
that's
at 3.5
correct.
minutes, and that's easy. I put my AirPods in and I just listen to one song essentially, and I'm out. But yeah, dude, no, that's still a party. I get in and sit right down and start the timer on my watch and scroll my phone for a minute and get out, and I feel awesome. And then I jump right into cardio, and yeah,
What are the benefits you felt from that practice?
I'll get in, and like the benefits is like I used to take Adderall all the time, and I like when you're high on the Adderall, it feels good, and like you're in the zone. I'm emailing, I'm doing stuff, I'm getting stuff done. But when you come down, I just don't like the feeling after you come down. So I really don't like taking synthetic
Yeah.
stuff. But the cold plunge has really helped. Like, I know, Mike, we talked about this, like maybe like controlling your emotions when you get cut off on the road or something. Like, I just, instead of like catching up to the guy and looking to see how big of an idiot they look like, a lot of times I'll just kind of shake my head and be like, freaking moron, and just let it go. But yeah, like definitely brain, like I feel a lot more calmer. I feel easier. Like my body just feels better. Yeah, like I just feel like a better person. I feel like I can be a better dad, and a better businessman now that I'm doing it consistently. And I've actually talked to a few other people. Our mutual friend Ryan, he just bought one, and so he's starting to get into it now too. Yeah. So I've had a few other people that are like they've been asking me questions. I was like, I don't know. I've listened to a few podcasts. I know I feel awesome. I know it releases this one kind of dopamine, another kind of dopamine in your brain. It's doing all this stuff. I just know I feel good, and I can just like take the day on, and like I feel like I'm waking up earlier. Like I feel like my whole body and like working out more. I don't need as much sleep, so which is weird. Maybe the sleep that I'm getting is just better quality, and so I'm waking up. So I'm usually consistently waking up like 5:30, 6 o'clock on my own, even without an alarm now.
For me too, like if I cold plunge at night, I can't get to sleep. Like I cannot go to sleep. Like it just I'm so invigorated that or if I feel like if I'm real tired, I didn't get a lot of sleep the night before, had a long day, or I go on a big trail run or lift session, whatever, and I get where I'm tired and I want to take a nap or something. If I go cold plunge, I don't want to nap anymore, and I feel like I'm on turbo. So it's very interesting how my body reacts to it. It gives me energy.
I've never done a cold plunge at night because of what you've said, and I used to work out. I used to work out like in the evening and stuff, and just almost kind of like work myself so freaking hard that I was so tired. But now that I've like been doing it in the morning and I've like kind of set a schedule for myself and I've just told myself that's what I'm going to do, it's been it's been awesome. And also too, like I feel like I've really cleaned up my diet as well. I don't you don't want to like do all this working out and everything and then like not see the results. So I like really cleaned up my diet and just eating cleaner, like cut out a lot of the processed. I'm not doing anything like crazy, just like smaller portions, cutting out processed foods, eating more vegetables. Like it's trying to just stay cleaner. even like I've actually been cutting meat out a lot more and just kind I don't think I'll ever go full vegan, but I've been leaning more towards just like vegetable eating and just like cleaner. And I've been feeling great.
It's been interesting to see your perspective on not only are you a family man and businessman, but also like the importance on being healthy, right? And having that energy to be the best at what you can in the other areas, and whether that starts physically or even mentally, like with the cold plunges. I think it's awesome, and I think it's important that we don't get stagnant, regardless of what stage we're at in life. I like you said, it's you're 38 and you're ready to go, and you're getting better every day, right? I don't think that we need to be like, oh, after 21, it's downhill from here, physically and mentally,
Yeah.
right? So it's it's been awesome to get your perspective and hear a little bit more about what you're involved in. We'd love to hear any final thoughts that you have.
Well, this is a super vain thought that I'm going to leave with you. I remember when I first had a daughter, and then I ended up having four total. I was just like, okay, Daryl, you've got to stay in shape. You've got to stay like fit and healthy, because I remember when I was in high school, like my friends that were girls, they'd always talk about these like such and such dad is so good looking and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be that guy. I need to stay in shape where I can not only one keep up with my kids, but I just want to be like the guy that people are like, oh, Daryl, he's a good looking dude for being 50 years old or whatever it is. So, so that's my first closing thought, I guess. I guess that's the pride and the vein in me that that wants, yeah, yeah. No, dude, I love what you guys are doing. I appreciate it. I love seeing success, and it's been fun because I remember I've heard something before that said, your friends rarely become your clients when you're starting a business, but your clients most always become your friends. And I feel like that's what we've done here is like I met you guys like business wise, and we and just kind of developed a relationship with common things with either hunting or working out. And I know it's been awesome getting to know you, Mike, too, because I text you just randomly and be like, hey, can I come look at your cold plunge? I'm just curious. Like that one Saturday I messaged you at like 3:30. I'm just like, I'm curious now. Like, can I just come look at it? I'm just curious of what this is like before I bought mine. Um, but yeah, like business is fun, man. Having kids is fun. Being a dad's fun. It's all mentality. Like just win, and you can win at everything. And even in the losses, you can still win. My businesses have been a lot of fun. My failed business has been a lot of fun. And yeah, anyone out there that's looking for swag, I can be your swag guy. Just over here at Brand Makers, Daryl at brandmakers.com. Hit me up.
Cool. Lots of fun, Daryl. Appreciate you coming on and joining us. This has been great.
Yeah, I'd love to come back whenever you guys need someone. You need some comical relief here. Hey, call me up. I'm ready to party, guys.